as you might know, just a few months ago, we made a video about the birth of the iconic dire wolf, the very same fearsome predator that inspired the werewolves of Game of Thrones. Well, since then, things have taken an unexpected turn.
Remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last dire wolf walked the earth, scientists say they've now brought them back.
These animals, and others like them, are not just growing. They're making shocking updates no one anticipated. Today, we're back with fresh updates on de-extinction technology to show you just how far this groundbreaking tech has come. Alongside the dire wolf, the woolly mammoth and dodo bird are now closer to walking the earth than ever before. But that's just the beginning. Unexpected breakthroughs have led to progress faster than anyone imagined, and new animals are joining the list of potential comebacks. From extinct fish species to the Tasmanian tiger, these creatures are making comebacks that are beyond anything we thought possible. And at the end, we'll tell you about a towering, 11-foot-tall bird once feared by early humans in New Zealand. Now scientists are racing to bring it back. Woolly mammoth. Woolly mammoths were massive, furry elephants that roamed the icy grassland of the Arctic thousands of years ago. With long curved tusks and a thick coat of hair, they were perfectly built for the Ice Age. But around 4,000 years ago, the last of these incredible creatures disappeared forever. Scientists believe that due to climate change and human hunting, they've become extinct. Well, scientists are getting closer than ever to bringing the woolly mammoth back from extinction. In June 2022, they found a baby woolly mammoth, perfectly preserved with skin and hair. Experts believe that if they can take genes from a baby mammoth and mix them with the DNA of an African elephant, they might be able to create a woolly mammoth-like animal. This isn't just a wild dream. Companies like Colossal Bioscience are already working on it. If they succeed, we could see a mammoth-elephant hybrid in the next decade. As of 2025, the project has made significant progress. Colossal Biosciences has already successfully inserted woolly mammoth genes into the DNA of elephant cells and is working on developing viable embryos. They aim to create a functional hybrid that could survive in modern climates, with the first mammoth-elephant calf expected in the next few years. The world is closer than ever to witnessing the return of this Ice Age giant. The Dodo Bird. The dodo was a large, flightless bird about the size of a turkey, native to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. It had no natural predators until humans arrived in the late 1500s. Because it couldn't fly and wasn't afraid of people, it was easily hunted by sailors, and invasive species like rats and pigs destroyed its eggs. Within less than 100 years of human contact, the dodo went extinct. The last confirmed sighting was in 1662. Scientists now hope to bring it back using advanced DNA technology. Researchers at the University of California are studying genetic material from preserved dodo remains to try to recreate the bird. Companies like Colossal Biosciences, which is also working on reviving the woolly mammoth, believe they can use similar methods to bring the dodo back by editing the genes of its closest living relative, the Nicobar pigeon. As of 2025, the project is making significant strides. Colossal has sequenced the dodo's DNA and is working on inserting key genetic traits into the Nicobar pigeon's genome. This could bring the dodo back to life within the next few years, marking an incredible leap in de-extinction science. Elephant bird. Well, scientists are really getting close to bringing back the elephant bird, a giant flightless bird. It lived on the island of Madagascar long ago, and it was as tall as a basketball hoop and weighed like a small car. Sadly, it disappeared about 1,000 years ago, likely because humans hunted it and destroyed its home. But now scientists are working hard to bring it back, Using advanced DNA technology, they are studying the bird's closest living relative, the kiwi, a small bird from New Zealand. By comparing their genes, scientists hope to recreate the elephant bird's DNA and maybe even hatch a new one in the future. The idea is called de-extinction. It's like hitting the undo button on extinction. It's still very hard to do, but science is getting better every day. If they succeed, the elephant bird could walk the earth again, helping nature in Madagascar. Wouldn't it be amazing to see this giant bird alive once more? Science is getting closer to making it happen. Stellar sea cow. Stellar sea cow was a huge, slow-moving ocean mammal, like a giant manatee or dugong, but way bigger. They grew up to 30 feet long, 9 meters, and weighed around 10 tons, as heavy as 2 elephants. They ate seaweed and were very friendly, which made them easy to hunt. Humans killed them off just 27 years after discovering them in 1741. Sailors and fur hunters ate their meat, which was said to taste like beef. In 1768, they were gone forever, one of the fastest extinctions ever. A team of scientists, including George Church, want to bring them back using DNA from fossils. They'll change the genes of their closest living relative, the dugong, to make a similar animal. If it works, these gentle giants could swim in the ocean again and give us a second chance to protect them. Bringing them back might help the environment, but it's also very hard to do. Dilophosaurus. Imagine a creature as long as a pickup truck with sharp claws, powerful legs for running, and 2 strange, thin crests on its head. Meet Dilophosaurus. One of the first giant meat-eating dinosaurs that lived about 200 million years ago. Like all big dinosaurs, Dilophosaurus went extinct when a massive asteroid hit Earth 65 million years ago. But today, some scientists believe we might be able to bring something very similar back to life by working with the DNA of birds, because believe it or not, birds are actually living dinosaurs. Famous paleontologist Jack Horner has a project called Chickenosaurus that tries to make chickens look more like their dinosaur ancestors by turning on ancient genes for teeth, tails, and claws. We may never see a real Dilophosaurus, but the science is getting closer every year to making something like Dilophosaurus walk the earth again. A real-life monster bird that ruled New Zealand until about 500 years ago. Meet Haast eagle, the largest eagle ever known. This wasn't your ordinary eagle, it was the size of a small plane with a 10-foot wingspan and claws as big as tiger paws. The power to take down 400-pound moa birds, slamming into them at highway speeds to make a kill. But when humans arrived and wiped out the moa, the eagle's food disappeared too. Within about 200 years, this incredible predator was gone forever. While bringing it back completely isn't possible yet, researchers at University of Otago have successfully extracted and studied its DNA from ancient bones. They've discovered it's closely related to Australia's much smaller little eagle, and some scientists believe that with advanced genetic engineering, we might one day create a similar super eagle. Archopteric. A feathered creature about the size of a crow with sharp teeth, killer claws, and legit wings. Yep, we're talking about Archopteric. The ultimate missing link between dinosaurs and birds that lived 150 million years ago. This bad boy had wings like a bird, but kept its dino swagger with teeth and a bony tail. Some scientists think that we might be able to bring Archopteric back to life by working with its closest living relatives, birds. Famous paleontologists like Jack Horner believe that by changing certain genes in chickens, we could create something very similar to Archopteric. This isn't just fantasy, real scientists at places like Yale are studying how to turn on ancient dinosaur traits in modern birds. Since Archopteric is basically part bird already, it might be easier to recreate while we may never have an exact copy. If you're loving this video, smash that like button and be sure to watch our ancient creatures that are somehow still alive today in 2025 video, exclusively on Forever Green. Mosasaurus. Deep beneath the ancient seas, there once ruled a terrifying predator with the power of a crocodile and the speed of a shark. This was the Mosasaurus, not a dinosaur, but a massive marine reptile. Mosasaurus lived around 82 to 66 million years ago, during the time of the dinosaurs. Growing as long as 50 feet, it was one of the top hunters of its time. Sadly, Mosasaurus disappeared during the same mass extinction and wiped out the dinosaurs about 66 million years ago, likely caused by a massive asteroid hitting Earth. But Mosasaurus fossils have been found across the globe, and scientists are trying to bring them back. It's very hard because sea creatures are more complex to recreate than land animals. But with new DNA technology and researchers believing that it might be possible in the far future. For now, they're studying fossil DNA and comparing it to animals like monitor lizards, which are related to the Mosasaurus. Siberian Unicorn. Imagine a real-life unicorn. Not the magical horse of fairy tales, but a massive, shaggy beast with a single giant horn roaming the icy plains of ancient Siberia. This incredible creature, known as the Siberian unicorn, it went extinct around 39,000 years ago. Scientists used to think it died out much earlier, but recent fossil discoveries have shown it survived longer than expected. Researchers have found well-preserved DNA in its fossils, which could help bring it back to life using advanced genetic technology. Some scientists think they might use CRISPR to combine the unicorn's DNA with that of its living closest relative, the modern rhino. While some experts warn that the process is still incredibly complex and could take decades, others believe this breakthrough could help us understand extinct species and even save endangered animals today.
Moa. Imagine a bird so big it could look a horse in the eye. Meet the moa, one of the most amazing birds to ever live. There were 9 different types of moa in New Zealand, and the biggest ones could reach 12 feet tall. Even though they looked tough, moas couldn't fly and had no wings at all. Sadly, they went extinct around the year 1400, just a few generations after humans arrived. The early Maori hunted them for meat and used their bones for tools. But now, scientists are working on something amazing. They're using ancient moa DNA from bones and comparing it with DNA from the moa's closest living cousin, the emu. With powerful gene editing tools like CRISPR, the idea is to edit the emu's DNA to match the moa's, possibly even growing a moa-like chick inside an emu egg. It sounds like science fiction, but it's real research happening right now. Titanoboa. Imagine a snake so huge it could crush a car. This terrifying beast was called Titanoboa, the biggest snake to ever move on Earth. Around 60 million years ago, this monster ruled the swamps of modern-day Colombia, growing longer than a school bus, up to 42 feet, and weighing as much as a small truck. It didn't have venom. Instead, it squeezed its prey like giant crocodiles, with bone-crushing force. Scientists discovered its fossilized bones in a coal mine in 2009. Now, with new genetic technology, some researchers like Dr. Jason Head believe we might recreate Titanoboa by editing the DNA of its closest living relatives, like anacondas and pythons. Titanoboa only existed because Earth was much hotter back then. Studying it helps us understand how animals adapt to extreme heat, which could be crucial as our planet warms up. Before we drop the next entry, don't miss our video on Meet the cat breed so rare you might think it's mythical. Now let's get back to the list. Earsea elk. Picture a huge deer with antlers so big they could stretch from one side of your room to the other. That's the Irish elk. This amazing animal lived thousands of years ago and was one of the biggest deer ever, taller than a man and heavier than a horse. It didn't just live in Ireland. It roamed all over Europe and Asia before disappearing around 7,000 years ago. No one knows for sure why it died out, but some think it was because the weather changed or humans hunted it too much. Now, scientists like Dr. Beth Shapiro are working on something unbelievable. They might bring the Irish elk back to life. Using old bones and DNA, they're trying to piece together its genes. Some even think they could use modern deer to help bring this giant back. Projects like the Revive and Restore initiative suggest we might see this species again in some form. Short-faced bear. Have you ever heard of the short-faced bear? This thing was an absolute monster, one of the biggest bears that ever lived. Picture a beast that could stand 12 feet tall on its back legs. That's taller than a basketball hoop and way more than a small car. This guy had long, lean legs built for speed and a weirdly short snout that made it look kinda like a nightmare version of a bear. It roamed North America during the Ice Age. But around 11,000 years ago, it vanished. Probably because the big animals it ate died out when the climate changed, leaving it with nothing to hunt. Now, scientists are closer than ever to bringing it back. Using cutting-edge DNA tech, they're pulling genetic clues from fossils. Some experts even think the short-faced bear's closest living relative, the spectacled bear, could help fill in the gaps in its DNA. If they succeed, we might see this ancient apex predator walk the earth again. Ground sloth. Well, guess what? Scientists might actually bring back a real-life giant ground sloth. Yes, the kind that towered over early humans and weighed as much as a truck. These massive, slow-moving beasts once roamed the Americas during the Ice Age, munching on leaves and digging with their enormous claws. But around 10,000 years ago, they vanished, likely thanks to a mix of climate change and hungry human hunters. Now, scientists think they might be able to bring them back. Thanks to new DNA technology, researchers have found well-preserved sloth genes in fossils and even ancient fur in South America. The plan is to use gene editing tools to tweak the DNA of modern sloths, making them more like their gigantic ancestors. Bringing back ground sloths could help ecosystems, since they once played a big role in spreading seeds and shaping forests. Sabertooth Tiger. The Sabertooth Tiger was one of the most fearsome predators of the Ice Age. Imagine a big cat, bigger and heavier than a lion, with two huge, curved fangs sticking out of its mouth like knives. Those teeth could grow up to a foot long. But here's the thing, it wasn't actually a tiger. It was a different kind of cat, called Smilodon, and went extinct about 10,000 years ago due to climate change. Their prey died out, and humans may have hunted the same animals they needed to survive. Researchers have found some really well-preserved DNA in fossils from places like the La Brea tar pits, where hundreds got stuck in sticky tar while trying to eat trapped animals. They're thinking about using gene editing technology on modern big cats, maybe clouded leopards, to try to recreate those famous knife-like teeth and powerful bodies. If these incredible extinct creatures fascinate you, smash that like button. For more amazing prehistoric beasts, check out Dire Wolf Reborn. Leaked list shows 15 extinct animals returning, only on 4 Evergreen. Smooth handfish. You know how most extinct animals disappeared hundreds or thousands of years ago? Well, meet the smooth handfish, the first modern marine fish we've officially declared extinct, and it just happened in 2020. These weird little bottom dwellers were about the size of your hand and had these strange fleshy fingers they used to walk along the ocean floor near Australia. Scientists think they probably went extinct because of habitat destruction and overfishing in their tiny home range around Tasmania. Scientists are now working on an incredible plan to bring the smooth handfish back from oblivion. They've got perfectly preserved specimens sitting in museums, including one collected way back in 1802 that still contains usable DNA. They're looking for cloning from these preserved tissues or using gene editing tools to modify the DNA of its closest living relatives, the critically endangered red and spotted handfish. Baiji. The Baiji, China's legendary goddess of the Yangtze River dolphin, might be coming back from the dead. Scientists are making serious progress toward reviving this elegant creature that was declared functionally extinct in 2006, the first dolphin species driven to extinction entirely by human activity. But now, breakthroughs in DNA technology and China's massive river cleanup efforts are opening the door to a potential comeback. Researchers have preserved genetic material from deceased Baijis, including Chiqui's samples, and used cutting-edge DNA technology to modify the DNA of its closest living relative, the Indus River dolphin. Science has advanced enough that creating a Baiji embryo is becoming feasible. But the bigger challenge lies ahead: finding surrogate mothers and ensuring the Yangtze is safe for their return. Quaga. The quagga was a unique animal that looked like a mix between a zebra and a horse. It had stripes on the front half of its body, but the back half was plain brown, like a horse. Sadly, the quagga went extinct in the late 1800s because of overhunting. The last known quagga died in a zoo in 1883, and since then, the world has never seen another one. But now, scientists are working on an exciting project to bring the quagga back, or at least something very close to it. They're using a method called selective breeding. Since the quagga is related to the plains zebra, researchers in South Africa are breeding zebras that have fewer stripes, trying to recreate the quagga's unique look. Over time, the offspring start to resemble the extinct animal more and more. This project is called the Quagga Revival Project. And while it won't bring back the exact same animal, it could create animals that look and behave like quaggas. TRex. The Tyrannosaurus rex, or T-Rex, was one of the most fearsome dinosaurs that ever lived. With its huge jaws, sharp teeth, and powerful legs, it ruled the land about 65 million years ago. But when a giant asteroid hit Earth, the T-Rex and all other dinosaurs went extinct. Today, scientists are exploring ways to bring back creatures like the T-Rex. Researchers are looking at birds, their closest living relatives. Chickens, for example, share some DNA with dinosaurs. Scientists have even found ways to switch on ancient dinosaur traits in chickens, like making their legs more muscular or changing their bone structure. Another idea is to reverse engineer a dinosaur by slowly modifying bird DNA over generations. Some experts believe that in the future, we might create a Chickenosaurus, a bird with dinosaur-like features such as teeth, a long tail, and even small arms, like a T-Rex. Dire wolf. Imagine the ultimate Ice Age predator, bigger than any wolf alive today, with bone-crushing jaws powerful enough to take down prehistoric bison. This was the dire wolf, the real-life beast that inspired legends. Once ruled the Americas, vanished around 10,000 years ago during the last Ice Age's extinction wave. But now, cutting-edge genetic magic has stitched together their DNA, pulling them from extinction's grip like something straight out of a wild dream. Imagine the shock, the thrill, as the first cloned dire wolf pup took its wobbly steps into a world it was never supposed to see again.
Remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last dire wolf walked the earth, scientists say they've now brought them back.
Bigger, wild, and more amazing than any modern wolf. Yet with this miracle comes, can humanity handle the return of a predator built to crush giants? The hunt for answers has only just begun, and the dire wolf's second chance is already rewriting history. In 2025, the first cloned dire wolf pup took its first steps, marking a monumental breakthrough. These pups, engineered from gray wolf DNA, have been growing at an astonishing rate, doubling in size within just a few months. As of now, they've reached over 100 pounds, much larger than the average gray wolf at the same age. This rapid growth is due to genetic modifications aimed at recreating the size and strength of their ancient ancestors. The dire wolf's second chance at life is raising questions about the return of a predator built to hunt giants. As these pups continue to grow, scientists face the challenge of managing a creature that hasn't walked Earth for thousands of years. The hunt for answers has only just begun, and the dire wolf's revival is already rewriting history. Which revival excites or terrifies you most? Could we handle these ancient giants sharing our world? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more mind-blowing videos.